There is a story floating around on social media. Um, a guy who allegedly was arrested in 2016 for the brutal stabbing of his partner, who, to my knowledge and understanding, he's black, she was black, and it was a very, very serious attack. I think she almost lost her life. Anyhow, I think he got sentenced to like 6 years or something like that. I'm not sure all the details, but there's a video where he's handcuffed and he's being attacked by a bunch of people in uniform. He didn't survive it. The thing is, now there was a time, I'm gonna keep it real with you, where the old me, I would have been like, I probably would have said something real like harsh, like, well, since he stabbed a sister multiple times, you know, good riddance. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people on the right actually saying that, like, you know, why should we care? Because he was a dangerous man who almost stabbed a woman to death. There was a time where I probably would have, said something along the lines of that. But in this day and age, it's just like anybody could find themselves behind bars. Like literally anybody. And so I'm of the mentality that depending upon certain situations, let people, let them live and carry out their sentence. Don't do that. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, really, but if you really gonna fight another man, I mean, why not, untie him, let him try his luck one on one. You know what I'm saying? It's a chance. He still might not win. Somebody can beat you until you succumb one on one. But you're fair better chances one on one, untied, uncuffed, than you would, with your hands behind your back, and then, it's a whole gang of folks pummeling you. Excuse me. I don't know. I'm not a man, but if I was a man, you know what I'm saying, and I really had a personal beef with another man, regardless of what they look like, let's shoot the fade. Shooting the fade in the hood, for those who may not know, is let's do this fair and square. Let's do this one-on-one. I don't want to jump you with your hands tied behind your back. But that's just me. And this is a tricky, first of all, it's very, very sensitive. And for the record, if anybody don't want to hear me speaking on certain things, with all due respect, you are welcome to stop listening right now. My intentions on my point is not to offend or minimize anything. I used to be real harsh and blunt. I dealt with a whole lot of misogynistic attacks. But, now I'm a little bit more, I don't know, I could end up like somebody who I may have looked at as an enemy. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I'm coming at with a more respectable, fair, and imbalanced approach to certain subjects. But anyhow, I think certain female Democrats have to be careful on this one, because like based off what I'm already reading on Twitter, maybe somebody could try to, use it against them. I think certain people on the right also have to be careful. Like, if they feel like authority should have the right to do anything they want and nothing gets done about it, I feel like either way you slice it, whether you're on the right or the left, situations like that could be used against the other demographic. So let's say if you're on the right, you could make the argument that authorities are necessary, you know what I'm saying? Because certain types of women overwhelmingly deal with a lot of domestic violence, and a lot of black women are getting killed in their own communities, and they're being they're being deleted by overwhelmingly by people that look like them. They could make that argument, and certain people on the left could make the argument that this is why we can't have individuals in positions of power on the right who's going to let these people just do whatever they want. Look at this. Is a man still not a human being? I mean, you've arrested him and you sentenced him. So do he not have a right to be treated as a human being and to live out his sentence? I mean, it could go either way. And for certain black females that's into politics, I think they need to be a little bit cautious. I think they need to be a little bit cautious with the way that they approach the situation. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm not saying it doesn't matter at all. But then I wonder about the timing of this. Last Sunday, there was an individual who was immolated. And unfortunately, she did not live. Another individual, I don't know if this was the Penn Station, New York Penn Station, another individual who may have also been homeless was set ablaze. And now I'm starting to feel like when I look at the fact that there was no urgency to help the woman who appeared to be of African descent, like it seemed like people took their time to help her. And then I hear about another attack. It almost feels real ritualistic, like, and this is going back into the esoteric thing, like there's something going on. Maybe these people are being brainwashed and or paid. They going out and getting these terrible people that are under some type of like demonic possession, because it's so many people that drink and do drugs and they don't set people on fire. They going after the worst of the worst, and maybe they are convincing them to go and hurt people, because then they can turn around and spin it and say, well, the Dems, it's the people on the left, it's their border policy that are allowing these folks to come and set people ablaze. And then this other video like comes out with the dude handcuffed, being pummeled. And it is a strange dilemma, because on the one hand, you don't want to really excuse people for outside of how people may feel about me and my controversy. We do have a very serious problem within the African American community with domestic violence. and a lot of black girls and women going missing. Don't nobody know where they at. We got a lot of problems, right? So it's a slippery slope. Like it's a like So you don't really want to try to minimize what that person did, but you don't want to come off like you're dehumanizing the way they were basically, tortured, not really able to fight back, hands behind their back, and outmanned, outnumbered. I mean, it's a horrible way to exit this world. There was a time when, for folks who may not know, if I knew like a brother did something that was real messed up, and then let's just say, look, he was violated or he was beaten severely or something else, I might not have cared that much, but I was in pain. I thought about all my negative experiences with certain dudes, whether it was exes or whatever. Like, people in the community, I thought about all the times I was, wronged, or somebody put their hands on me the wrong way, or hit me, hit me, cursed at me, and you know what I'm saying? But I realized, like, it doesn't take much for you to be in that position where you're being dehumanized and nobody cares about what happens to you and nobody cares about your pain. So it's not that I'm being disingenuous or I'm kissing people behinds now. No. I mean, he still was a human being, and nobody deserves to, go out like that. Like, not like that. At the same time, if what they saying is true about him stabbing his ex multiple times and nearly deleting the woman, I think more brothers need to be vocal about what happened to him. I think this might be more of a fight for the brothers to deal with, since he was a brother. And then what does it say when you see certain black women in powerful positions, as politicians, going hard in the paint for dudes like that, right? Is some could say they're minimizing. They could try to make the argument, whether it's right or wrong, that those black women are minimizing the actual threat to their own demographic as black women. People could make the argument, and they're already trying, that you're prioritizing a brother who's a danger to your demographic. And for what? You're prioritizing him over black women whom he may actually be a threat to, is what I'm saying. And I'm saying this from an objective, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of like playing devil's advocate a little bit. If you are following me, you see where I'm going. And I'm doing this as respectfully as I possibly can. I'm not knocking any of the victims. I think it's sad and it's pitiful when we've come to a situation where a lot of black people don't know how to deal with each other and have disagreements without deleting each other or almost deleting each other. We're in a very and the United States has deteriorated, like when you can see a sister, you know what I'm saying, up in flames and people are just walking past. There's no urgency to try to, find water or a fire extinguisher. We have declined in our humanity as a society, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, for certain black female Democrats, I feel like it could be a slippery. It's like a thin line, because you don't want to look over that. You don't want to dehumanize him. But then you got people that might be on the right that can argue, well, you're trying to make it seem like he's more important than the sisters. They're already trying to make that type of connection. I've been reading certain comments. There was a time where I used to follow certain black women and I was a follower, sometimes to my own detriment. But some of what I was saying wasn't just reactionary. It wasn't just me reacting to years of colorism and misogynistic insults and attacks and things like that. It was coming from a place of pain where I probably would have said, well, those officers was just taking out the trash. It was a time I probably would have said something messed up like that. But I've also come to the understanding that it's never cool to stop seeing a person as a human being. Also, if you understand the spiritual realm of this, the spiritual aspect of this, well, the minute that you start trying to look for all these reasons to justify why somebody wasn't a human being, you run the risk of people doing the same thing to you. So if you come up with every little thing in the book to justify why this person deserved to be treated so terribly and so horribly, why they deserve to be tortured or this and this and that, right? Well, the universe may start putting you in positions and situations where people view you in a similar way. Like, why should I look at you as a human being? They might start coming up with every little reason to dehumanize you too. Like if you the same way you're gonna be dismissive over something real egregious, that's the risk that you take. Nobody ever stops being a human being. And one thing that I do notice, the dominant, white male society overwhelmingly understands that part. They get it. Even when you got a situation like, the suspect, Luigi Mangione. A lot of non-black people are approaching that, and they're empathizing and or sympathizing with both the shooter and his victim. And while my whole thing is this, right? I'm not really trying to personalize it. Wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Wrong is wrong. Any one of us could find ourselves behind bars for any reason. And sometimes for no reason at all. And that's the only reason I even address this. Anybody could find themselves behind bars. Being what? Dehumanized. And if it's anybody who understands the danger of dehumanization, it's me. Not only me. So you don't ever want to dehumanize people. It could come back around. Wrong is wrong. If somebody is arrested and sentenced, let them live that out. I don't know what happened to cause that. I don't know. It just looks really, really, really bad. Also, but you know how they say never let a tragedy go to waste. I don't know. It's just January ain't that far away, and all these things are popping off, and I just feel like there's an undertone or elephant in the room. Look, the left is the reason why you can't be safe on a subway. And what they did to this man who was locked up and handcuffed is why folks on the right can't be trusted to save you with your safety. Like you may not want to support them because look what they'll allow to happen to you. They're going to pass legislations and laws where they can pummel you until you're no longer alive. And you and your loved ones, y'all can't do nothing about it. Really, I mean, once you're deleted, you can't do anything anyway, but nobody, your community, your loved ones won't be able to do anything about it because of the laws. The laws will be fixed. You know what I'm saying? And I be having theories. This is just I understand that sometimes my theories could be wrong. But you had really, you got all these attacks going on in the subway. You got people being stabbed, people being set ablaze, people being mugged. January 20th is not that far away, and then this video comes out. A lot of times I understand that they do stuff very strategically. It's to get you emotional, to get you upset, to get you riled up, to make you afraid. Some of these things can be done intentionally. They'll never tell the public though. A lot of times when you hear about stories, especially once it hits the mainstream media, which is corporate owned and whatever, it's for a reason. There's an agenda behind it. Sometimes you gotta focus more on what they're not telling you, what they not blasting all over the news. That's really the stories you need to look for. What are they not saying? Why is it taking them so long to identify this individual who was immolated? While people just stood around recording and nobody tried to really, find water to put, or there was no urgency to find an extinguisher. With all the technology they got and all the cameras they got, what's taking so long for them to identify this person? I feel like if she was part of some type of rich elite class, they probably would have identified her within 24 hours. I know everything that they tell us is for a reason. I'm still learning this. I'm watching what they doing in real time. Everything got like an agenda behind it.